Because outside of that, like I said, he will give you the shirt off his back. And it actually became quite a problem. We'd be out at restaurants and he'd be giving people his shirts. And it's like, Paul, you can't be in here without a shirt on. This is a nice place to eat. You can't be topless. And he's like, no, take my socks as well. I need to free this particular elf. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 3 of my vlog series, which sounds super old school to say, but it is what it is. We're just going to call a spade, on my road to WRPF Nationals 2025, this year being held at Apex Barbell in Burlington, Ontario, which is great because I don't have to travel very far. Probably going to get a hotel room down there because I like to sleep in and I like to eat a little bit, but I don't have to get on a plane and leave the province. So, headed into week 3, being 11 weeks out and feeling good. This past week was a mental win for me. Last week was a bit of a mental challenge with my psoas acting up that I talked about in episode 2. This week I felt much better physically, but I also had a little bit of help. See, I usually train alone, and it's not by choice, it's just by happenstance because of when I train during the day, there's not that many people at the gym. I would much rather train with people around because I'm a social butterfly. I like to talk to people. I like to interact with people. I like to see how people's training is going, ask them how they're feeling, maybe pick up some tips from them, and help when people ask me. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to go out of his way to give help, but if somebody asks, then I will. It's also kind of detrimental to my training because I have so much to get in that if I goof around and not pay attention to my sets, not pay attention to my reps, it can hurt me. So the one thing that's been really good about when I do train during the day is I'm able to focus a lot on my rest, able to focus on my sets, and I'm able to focus on myself. As selfish as it sounds, but my coach has told me I need to be more selfish because I need to focused on my training because it needs to come first and people need to respect that. It's a fight for me, but I get it. Last week was great because I got to train with some people, but it wasn't overwhelming and they completely understood because they're prepping for competitions as well. And it all started on day 1 when one of my good friends, at least I hope I can call him a good friend, Paul Longboat, showed up to train at Skullhouse with me. He was on his way with his family to vacation. And Paul is prepping for Strongman Corp Canada Nationals this coming October in Calgary. And Paul's going to put on a show. He is one of the strongest guys I know. He podiumed at provincials, put on a great show, and he's only getting better and only getting stronger headed into nationals this year. And I have no doubt that he's going to put on a show while he's out there. And I can't wait to see him do it, to be honest. And training with guys like Paul and some other folks that I end up training with does 2 things for me. One, it reminds me that there's always a bigger fish because it's easy when you're in the same gym as you progress. Not everybody else progresses at that speed, at that level, and a lot of times by choice because they're just not into the same thing you're into. And it's quickly becoming a habit of, big fish in a small pond. That can happen. And I try really hard to not let that happen to me because I know there's always a bigger fish. That's why I do my best to go to other gyms where there are some legitimate monsters that frighten me, and they're the stuff nightmares are made of, even though they're big, gentle teddy bears behind the scenes, but we won't tell people that. Because you need to understand that even if you think you're the strongest guy at your local gym, there's always somebody stronger. And it's good to have that as a reference point. So training last week with Paul there and watching him throw sandbags around like they were empty, even though they weren't, was my reminder like, okay, that's what I need to do. And I was doing squats. Paul was doing sandbags. He did farmer carries and yoke. And just the level of intensity that guy can bring when the switch is on. He can really go from shirt. He's really the kind of guy that can go from, I'm going to give you the shirt off my back, to flicking a switch and now I'm going to eat your soul. That's the kind of guy he is. And it's really only when the referee says go or when he starts his training. Because outside of that, like I said, he will give you the shirt off his back. And it actually became quite a problem. We'd be out at restaurants and he'd be giving people his shirts. And it's like, Paul, you can't be in here without a shirt on. This is a nice place to eat. You can't be topless. And he's like, no, take my socks as well. I need to free this particular elf. But I'm getting sidetracked here. Having those people around when you train is great. So I did squats on day one. Felt really good. 490 for sets of 4. I hadn't hit over 500 yet. That was coming up in the week that I'm currently in and was looking forward to it. But 490 for 4 felt good considering how the week prior went. All my muscles held together. I felt much better. And I did it on little sleep and little food. So this is where the gym makes no sense, because I can have a day where I'm getting ready for a 1 rep max. I'm going to do an RP 9 or 10. I'm going to hit as heavy as I can. I get 8 hours of sleep. I get all my food in. My hydration is bang on, and I feel like garbage. Conversely, I do this training day with Paul on like no sleep, on an empty stomach, and feel pretty good, all things considered. So that was how the week started, and I was off to a pretty good start. From there, I switched to day 2, some close grip board press. Again, working on my triceps, trying to get my tricep strength built in because it will help me with my powerlifting, but it will also transition into strongman for next season. 350 for sets of 3. And again, where this doubles for me is, yes, it's building good tricep strength, which helps with all the pressing that I have to do for strongman. But I'm able to work through my cues for powerlifting as well, keeping my legs activated, working on the press off the bench, keeping control, keeping tension, all the things I need for nationals coming up. And it felt really good. Now, this is where the other people came in. A friend of mine is prepping for her own competition this coming weekend. The week she was in, she was doing PRs. That's what we're talking about here. So she's doing PRs all week, and I'm feeding off that energy because I love it. I love seeing people I know, people I care about, go out and crush PRs, or at the very least give it their all. And I believe she was doing squats while I was doing the bench that day, and she crushed it. She missed her first one, and she was pretty down, but her and Randy and I talked to her about it because we knew she had more in her. So she went back and she hit it again, and I love that. I love that she missed it, collected herself, said, no, I'm going to hit it, and she went and hit it. So, Megan, bless you. You put on a good show, and it got me motivated. And the flip side of that is my training went really well. So we moved on to the next day, and I had some deadlifts. And deadlifts, like I mentioned last week, have been a struggle for me because I picked up some bad habits training strongman that I'm trying to break now. So one of the ways we're trying to break that is we started with slow to knee deadlifts, 385 pounds, which is a pretty light weight for me, and really focusing on being slow, being deliberate, loading the legs up before exploding once I'm through my knees. And it's really helping me lock in, take that tension out of the bar, lock my lats in, engage every part of my body that I can, keep the tension, keep the tension, keep the tension. And then once I'm past my knees, blow the quads up and we're good to go. So we transitioned that into speed reps, 415-ish pounds for 6 singles. So it wasn't a heavy weight. It was a really light weight. I never did ask my coach if it was an error, if it was supposed to be more or not. The more I think about it, the more I think it might have been a mistake, but none of us caught it. And I'm afraid to ask now. He doesn't watch these videos anyway, so it's fine. And it was 6 singles and it went good. You know, I was really able to focus on, keeping my arms long, because on my underarm, I have a tendency to bend it, and that puts pressure on the bicep. When your arm's bent like that, as you're pulling the weight off the floor, that's recipe for a torn bicep. So I need to focus on flexing the tricep and keeping my arm nice and long so that that doesn't happen so that there's not a lot of strain on my bicep. It's better with the overhand because it's just a natural position for it. But naturally, when I have my underhand, I want to curl it in. So I'm trying to break away from that habit as well. Again, in strongman, it's not a problem because I use straps. So I'm able to lock in uniform. Wow, that's a big word I was trying to slam in there. Just trying to raw dog that into the whole thing. Trying to be uniform to get it into my pull with straps is much easier than doing an over under. So they all felt good. And on that day, Megan, if you're following the little thread I'm weaving through here, was doing bench and she killed it. She hit a PR on bench. She did really well. Although no one told me it was her PR, I was spotting and doing a handoff. And I looked at it and I was like, that was a bit of a struggle, but not a warm up, so that's okay. And she was all excited and Randy was all excited. And I went, well, what the heck's going on? And they were like, that was her PR. And I was like, cool. Wish somebody would have known me. So on the video that she posted, I looked like super unimpressed. I looked like I'd rather be anywhere else but there, which isn't the case because I was like, well, what the heck? Like, I want to know these PRs are coming up. Like, tell me. I don't know what everyone's doing. So she hit a PR, which was terrific. Then I moved on to day 4, some pause bench. 3 count pause on the chest, 335 for sets of 2. Again, this is my opportunity to really focus on keeping the tension into my chest, squeezing my shoulder blades behind my back, bringing my chest up to the bar, doing that nice little soft touch that I like to do, and then holding it for that 3 count and exploding. And the one thing one of my coaches had me working in is trying to punch as I come out of the whole position on my chest. And I really think that it helped. So I'm going to try and work that in this week as well. But all in all, it felt really good. And on that day, Megan was doing deadlifts. Now, she didn't hit a PR. She matched her previous PR, and it looked like a second attempt. So this is where the mental game comes in because I had a really good day, felt really good on bench, felt really good all week. Megan was kind of down. And this is where the community comes in because it's like, you want to help her and you want her to get over it because you being me, too many pronouns, pal. Rationally, I'm like, no, you got past where you were because you just did your previous PR way better than you did it before. So you're stronger, but you kind of have to let them sit in it for a minute. And they kind of have to go through the emotions and they have to feel it and they have to come to you and be like, help me out. And she did. And I was able to give her the speech I just gave you guys and help her get past that. So this week, all around, week 3, 11 weeks out, was what I would call a good mental week. It got me refocused, got me re-energized. I had no injuries to speak of. All my muscles, joints, aches, and pains settled down, and I felt really good. So looking ahead to week 4, 10 weeks out, and where the mental side of it's coming in is I'm a little worried because I am not losing the weight that I wanted to. I was hoping to be down a little bit more than I am now. I'm already under where I was from provincials, which is great, but I'm not where I want to be. So last week, the week we're talking about now, week 3, I incorporated some more treadmill work to try to get my steps in because I know I don't do a good job at getting my steps in. And it seems to be helping. We'll see where I am at the end of week 4 for weight. And we'll go from there. But week 4 has got some big lifts coming up. I've got squats and I'm squatting over 500 pounds this week. And I haven't touched north of 500 pounds in a while. Pre-strongman anything anyways, so it's been a few months since I've touched anything beyond 500 pounds, so we'll see. Bench, we're getting even 2-board bench this week is supposed to be upwards of 365 pounds. Again, haven't touched anything that close in a while, but the way 2-board bench has been going, it's been feeling pretty good, so I'm excited about that. Deadlifts this week are supposed to be about 540 for some singles. Again, I've not touched a conventional raw deadlift in that weight in a long while. So this is going to be the combination. Last week was mental. Week 2 was physical. Week 4 is going to have to be all of that combined. It's going to have to be taking the mental side of it, combining it with how I feel physically, and hoping it all comes together. Comp bench this week, we're also getting up to 350 for doubles. So this is going to really test me. Week 4 will be a good test of where I'm at. It'll be a good test of where I'm at physically and mentally. So check back next week. I'm hoping to do a better job at getting these things out on a Monday rather than a Wednesday. My weekends have all been kind of messed up, unfortunately, so that hasn't been the case, but I'm hoping to get these out more on Monday because then it'll make more sense logistically. If there's anything you want me to cover or talk about on here, by the way, please let me know. I'm working on another couple of channels that I want to get up off the ground because I have so many different interests that don't really fit this channel. So I want to do another channel to talk about some pro wrestling and some movies and stuff because I do love and TV and I love that stuff, but it doesn't fit here. And then I'd love to do like a gaming channel and play some retro games because I'm retro, I'm old, and I want to play those games and throw it out there and see if anybody has a good time watching it. So that's something else as well. I'm not sure when, if, or what's going to happen, but that's where we're at. So thank you for checking out Week 3, my prep to WRPF Nationals 2025. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, I'm at about 35, 36 subs right now. If I ever get up to 100, I'll be over the moon. Don't get me wrong. I am super happy with what I have now. I'm super grateful to have this. If I get more as I go along, cool. If I keep 36 the whole way through, cool. You guys are the real ones. So thank you guys and gals. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you next time. Stay strong.